Oh, wow. That's awful. That is God awful.
No compassion at all. No compassion at all.
All right, so what are those parents so outraged about? An anonymous letter. Let me just read you a couple more lines. He's an idiot kid, nothing but a nuisance. No normal girl is going to love him. One insult after another from an anonymous coward. And the coward? A mother talking about a 13-year-old boy with autism. And it doesn't stop there, Christy, right?
Oh, my gosh, it gets so much worse. I mean, the letter says the family should take the son's non-retarded body parts and donate them to science. Here's another quote. What the hell good is he? Another one. You wild animal kid. And this one, just move over or euthanize him. Either way, we're all better off. I'm telling you, this thing was printed out, slipped under the boy's grandmother's house. This was near Toronto. And apparently, the boy spends a lot of time outside, and he's outside. He makes a lot of noise. So we asked some parents, you know, what they thought about those words. And, oh, my goodness, take a listen. And she said, do the right thing and move or euthanize him. Either way, we're all better off.
Shame on her. Because if she was truly a mother, her heart would have some kind of compassion towards that child. Because that could be her child or any child.
Well, all I can say is she's an awful person. Yeah. To even think that in the first place. It's a human being we're talking about.
When you feel your idiot kid needs fresh air, take him to our park, you dope. It really makes me mad and upset, only because I have a son that's autistic. And so it's very upsetting to me.
This woman is a mother who's raising children. What do you think of that?
It's scary because that means she's giving them the same values that she has. And she has none, no morals.
I've got an autistic grandson.
You do?
It's not as bad as that. It's not the type that makes all the noises, but he is autistic. And I would hate anybody to say that about him.
I have no words to express the contempt I feel for that lady.
Okay, besides the fact that this neighbor should be slapped and thrown out a window, sorry, a little harsh.
No, it's not.
You know,
not at all.
Can you call the cops? Can you file harassment charges? Yeah. Can you have her arrested? I mean, what can you do besides have your heart crushed?
There may be an opportunity to involve law enforcement in something like this, but this is something that we probably don't talk enough about, Mike, is the community policing function that gets done. Whether or not this is some kind of a threat that would result in a criminal prosecution, one of the things that law enforcement folks are concerned with is the well-being of their communities. And this is something where clearly there's a significant problem with the author of this letter. And I say this all the time. I say it when I speak, that people live their lives in one of two ways. They're either an example or a warning. And sadly, what we have here is the author of this letter is a warning. This is how not to live your life. We're lacking a kindness.
Anything that mother can do about this woman who wrote this horrible letter?
You know, the last line of this really bothers me, and I think it's right on the borderline. It says, do the right thing and move or euthanize him, which means put him to death. So could that be conceived as a threat? I think it's enough, at least, to get law enforcement to go over and talk to this woman to find out what's really going on inside that sick head of hers.
If you knew who she was, that's the other thing. There's been a lot of response on social media about the fact that this woman wrote this anonymously and did not have the guts to go to this woman
I think
and have
somebody
a conversation
knows
with
who
her. And the
this
fact
is.
that she's a mother and that this woman who wrote this is raising children, that scares me, I think, more than anything.
Well, from a legal standpoint, it lacks the immediacy that law enforcement is typically looking for when they're going to arrest somebody for making a threat.
Well, so, Mike, you were a cop for many years, okay? Yeah. People make threats that they want to kill somebody all the time, or you should do this, or you should do that. I mean, from your assessment, looking at this letter, the language, how horrible these things are that she says, you as a cop, do you see her as a threat?
Well, you have to look at, is this person who's writing this letter, is he or she a danger to themselves or others? That's what law enforcement has to go on. So if I found out who this person was, I think law enforcement would go over and interview this person.
Yeah.
And Mike looks at everybody as a danger, so.
Yeah.
Because it's a hate letter. It's a hate letter.
It is.
And hate is a crime in many instances.
And on top of that, the mom, the boy's mom, has multiple sclerosis and says that all this hate, as Christy mentioned, actually made her hyperventilate, gave her anxiety attacks. Now Canadian police are investigating to see if any laws were broken. I can tell you we will stay on top of that story.